Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. This is now the third video I've made in the past 12 hours. You guys have been requesting to hear my thoughts on all of the new relic sets, and I should have made this video a while ago. I've just been busy with all kind of shit. But I'll be going over each new relic set's value, where you could use them, if they're worth investing in, who are they good for, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with Firmament, Frontline, Glamoth. I think this is the least valuable one, and it's the most like you're gonna have to rely on future characters coming out to really find the real value for it. We'll go over it. So it's two piece. It's gonna give you a 12% attack increase, and then if you reach a certain speed marker, you're gonna get a damage bonus. At 135 speed, you're gonna get the 12% damage bonus, but if you hit the 160 speed marker, you're going to get an 18% damage bonus instead. Now, I'll be honest with you, a 12% attack increase plus an 18% damage bonus, that is a massive two-piece relic value. But the issue with this is it doesn't say current speed, and I'll go ahead and explain that to you. So where it says when the wearer's speed is equal to or higher than, that right there, if it's at when the wearer's current speed is equal to or higher than, that would imply that it will apply these values on the spot in battle. But since it doesn't say current speed, that means you have to hit these markers before even going into battle, meaning your character has to already be at that speed, because once you go into battle, no matter how much you manipulate their speed to increase, it's not going to apply that value that you're looking for. So that's the negative, because I'm gonna keep it a buck. 12% attack increase plus 12% damage bonus isn't that big of an increase in performance from something like Space Sealing Station. So the characters that you're already utilizing with Space Sealing Station, if you have good stats on this, it's not worth like stressing out trying to flip over to that set just to trade a 12% attack increase for a 12% damage bonus. Now, a damage bonus, for the most part, 90% of the time, is usually going to be a bigger damage increase, but it's a marginal damage increase, and something that's not worth stressing over. Now, at 18%, that I know that 6% doesn't sound like a lot. That 6% is definitely an increase in performance in comparison to a 12% attack increase, right? But the issue right now is we don't have a lot of characters in game that can just hit 160 speed like it ain't shit, that are also in the DPS category. So this set appears to be like a future-proof set from where I'm standing, because who the hell is hitting 160 speed before going into battle? The only person I can think of hasn't even came out yet. It's Hanya. Hanya's a speed queen. Hanya's going to be able to go 3 times more consistently than probably any other unit in the game. Her speed kit is just tailored to go a bunch of times. Which is actually a high value of her. I probably should have mentioned that in the previous Hanya video. My overall analysis of her still stands. But getting back on topic, I think we're gonna have to wait. This is probably a bit of a foreshadowing to imply that we're going to get some speed demons down the line that are in the DPS category that are going to hit that 160 speed marker much more quickly. But as things stand right now, I'm not saying you can't, but there's just not a lot of characters in the game that can just hit 160 speed like it ain't shit, unless you're somebody who has truly mid-maxed a ton of speed on your character. Like Kafka, if you're running a Dotka, and you're trying to prioritize the attack percent and speed, which is a very prevalent way to play her, then she's somebody who could potentially hit that with her signature light cone. Or actually, no, yeah, you can't even hit her with signature light cone, because then that is also manipulative once you enter battle. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man, it's hard, but there are some Kafkas out there sitting with 160 speed, but that's like the most cracked out Kafka. You know what I mean? So you know how many times you gotta roll the speed stat in the sub stats to achieve that? So my point here is this one is the least valuable relic set right now. I spent more time than I wanted to on that. Now, Penacony's Grand Hotel is the highest value relic set I've seen out of all the new sets. By the way, disclosure, you probably hear my daughter just like screaming crazy in the back. Ignore. But Penacony's Grand Hotel is the biggest value of these new relic sets. This can be used on all your supportive characters for the most part. It's pretty much a planetary rendezvous in relic set form, with a 5% energy recharge attached to it. Now that 5% is way more valuable than you might think it is for certain characters. But let's go over the value of who is gaining benefit of Penacony. We'll come over here and let's just look at the harmony units, because that's where really a shit ton of the value is. Not just here though, some nihility, some preservation, and abundance. Like, so many characters can make good use of that set. Obviously it's going to work best with a mono induced concept. So like if you're running Yukong with Imbiber Lunae, that's a best in slot build for Yukong. It's going to increase her energy recharge while giving Imbiber Lunae a 10% damage bonus. That's a W. Ting Yun with Jing Yuan and or Kafka. Asta next to Topaz. In fact, that's been my favorite build for my Asta. I put Planetary Rendezvous on her light cone, and then I put that Penacony of Dreams as her 2-piece relic set, and I give my girl a shit ton of damage bonus, because Asta with Planetary Rendezvous, that's a 24% damage bonus given to Topaz, right? Then that's at 10%, bringing her to a 34% damage bonus. And then Asta inside of her traces gives a whole ass another 18% fire damage increase. Like, that is the most ridiculous amount of damage bonus from an individual character. Like, so that set, when you combine it with certain characters, is just incredibly strong. With Yukong, she's given an imaginary damage bonus, 12% to Imbiber Lunae, plus Rendezvous, light cone, plus the 2-piece relic set. Shit ton of damage bonus. So you get what I mean. That set is incredibly invaluable in this game right now, and it was such a banger value, especially on units who can use the extra energy recharge. Let's go ahead and give you an example of what I'm talking about. So like her E2 gives back 5 energy when somebody hits their ult meter up. Energy recharge scales off of shit like this. So getting that 5% increase and rocking an energy recharge rope makes a big difference on somebody like Yukong, who has all these little energy recharge intricacies inside of her kit. All of these little things that say regenerate this, regenerate that, they scale off of your multiplier of your energy recharge percentage. So again, that's why the set's so valuable on specific characters that can scale off of it. Another character, Hua Hua, she has some energy recharge intricacies in her kit. I think it's this one right here. Now it's only 1 energy, so she's probably actually a terrible example, but that 5%, when 1 energy keeps getting triggered, you'd be surprised, man. It can add up over time, and then your ult comes up a little bit quicker. But the fact of the matter is, the Penacony set doesn't just apply to harmony units, it applies to all the supportive units, because they're generally going to be in a role where they're just trying to sustain your team, but now they're also giving that 10% damage bonus over to your DPS. That is of the same element. Now, the final argument that can be made here is, well, I can also just run broken kill. You can make the argument like, why don't I can also just run broken kill. You can 100%, and sometimes it's going to be the better option because you're not trying to get CC'd by these annoying ass enemies. But it's more easier to run the broken kill set on units that already have a little bit of effect resistance built into their kits. So you have another option now, and depending on the situation at hand, you might not be fighting an enemy that has CC, right? You might be fighting an enemy that doesn't CC you at all. So then you could just run the other set, get a little bit more energy recharge, and give that unit a damage bonus. Plus, some units scale more off a damage bonus than they do off a crit damage. So there's a couple of variables, but basically you have a little more arsenal to choose from. Like if you have Ting Yun, who has no effect resistance in her traces, you might want to go for that other set if you're running Jing Yuan next to her as opposed to this. However, if you're able to hit that 30% effect resistance marker and give your team the crit damage boost, then you can go that route as well. But having more options is always a good thing. So I really like this set. Now moving on to Cavern Relics. The Ashblazing Grand Duke and Prisoner in the Deep Confinement. This is like obviously very obvious, right? It's going to be good for dot oriented units, really Kafka as things stand now. Can you put this on a Sampo and a Luca? Yes, you can. But me personally, I do not run them on comps unless I'm breaking shields. And now with, you know, Rune coming around the corner, I'm definitely not running them unless I'm breaking shields. So I'm not really looking at this set on anybody other than Kafka, but that's not to say you can't use them. That's just because I like break effect Sampo and Luca. But Gwen Ifen could benefit from this set, as well as Sampo and Luca if you're not breaking shields, but you still want them to deal the normal dot damage and increase that as much as possible. But this is primarily for Kafka, and I'll be honest with you, it's not the biggest highlight for me, but if I were to run this and prioritize it on my Kafka, because it is a best in slot set for her now for Dotka comp, right? But if I were to prioritize this, I think I'm either going to run Pella as a support unit on that comp to get that defensive shred down even further, with the freaking relic set that also shreds her, which I gotta go find that real quick. Give me a second. We'll go to light cones, nihility, yeah, resolution, shine of pearls. I'd run my Pella with this if I'm running Kafka with that set, just to like completely obliterate the amount of defense that they're gonna have on them. But it is worth mentioning that you do have to have 3 dots on the target, and 3 dots is not easy to achieve really, because you have Kafka, unless you throw in a break effect dot, then that's cool. But outside of a break effect, because that still takes time to do, you got Kafka dot and then supportive unit dot, which can be Sampaluka or Gweniphan, and then you have that third character, which if it's Pella, she's not going to provide that dot, right? So now you have to rely on the break effect dot, which is a bit of a negative. Or you run Asta, who's a speed demon, who's another very powerful support unit in dot compositions. You're gonna have to build effect hit rate in on her because her auto attack can apply a dot as well. But that third dot is a bit of a trick to pull off to get the full bonus, which means you're gonna have to rely on breaking their shield to get that third dot perk as fast as possible. And that's just me being picky with uptime on this set, but it still is gonna be best in slot for Daka. Finally, the Ashblazing Grand Duke is honestly, this and Penacony are the highlights of this patch, because this one is so goddamn cracked on follow-up units like Topaz, Jing Yuan, and Clara. They got a noticeable spike in their performance with this set. And if you get, the problem is you got to build this set for, like, you need to build 2 of these, because you need one for your Topaz and then you need one for your other follow-up unit. And y'all will be surprised. I'm gonna make a video, I promise you. Y'all will be surprised. Kritka fucking pops off with this set. The follow-up attack, here's the thing. Right now, Topaz can auto attack for like 50k if you really buff the hell out of her. Her auto attack hits for 50k because of the follow-up multiplicative damage bonus that her Numby little dot does. It gives you a massive increase. She's also, her basic attack considered a follow-up attack, and then she's got some damage bonuses. But what I'm trying to say is her basic attack is only 100% multiplier. Kafka's base or follow-up attack can go up to, I think, 140%, which means it's a higher multiplier than hers, and it's also a follow-up attack. So if you put Topaz and Kafka on the same comp, Kafka can also auto attack, will follow up attack for like 50-60k. I'm not kidding. So but you have to run it with the Kritka build. So I'm excited to show that to you guys when I get back. This follow up attack really the set does slap with Kritka, and it's such a banger way to play her. I love that shit. But apart from that, this is a massive damage bonus for pretty much not all follow-up attack units. Like, it's not good on Blade. Let's go ahead and look at them. Let's look at the follow-up attack units real quick. Characters, destruction. Yeah, so it's going to be good for Clara, 100%. Blade, Hunt Path, obviously best in slot for Topaz. Yangxing, I could see it being of use to Yangxing. I really can see it, but you know, he can just use his ice set. Jing Yuan, I think it's going to be best in slot for him as well. I have tested it on him. He is definitely strong as shit. Himiko, yeah, still I think also best in slot for her as well. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Now Herta is looking a little skeptical, but Himiko is definitely going to pop off with that set. And Nihility, Kafka, Kritka, and that's about it, I guess, huh? Am I missing anybody else? We meme built with March 7th, I guess. You can totally meme with March 7th. Who else am I missing? I feel like that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will say though, there are 2 units coming around the corner that are also going to benefit from that set. So investing in that domain, just because if you have a follow-up attack account, is so worth it. But those are all my thoughts for the new sets that have come out. Hopefully I brought you guys some value. Happy holidays, and I'll catch you guys when I get back from vacation. Take care.